Sepulveda, and I am Mrs. Ethnic World International 2012. I represented Jamaica in pageants all over the world for married women.
Tell us about how you got involved with this event tonight.
Well, I'm a meningitis survivor. In 2006, I was diagnosed with meningitis, and I, like many people, was severely affected, nearly lost my life. After some years of recovery, I decided to look further into meningitis, the cause and the effects of it, and organizations that support meningococcal disease survivors. And I found the National Meningitis Association, and I became an honorary committee member.
And how did you unfortunately get meningitis, you think?
You know, I was visiting an amusement park. I'd rather not say which one because I don't want people not to go there. It's a great amusement park, but I was in San Diego and I visited an amusement park which had a lot of kids. And within an hour or so, I started to become severely ill. And on my way home, I ended up having to go to the hospital. And it's important to get your kids vaccinated. It's important to get them vaccinated as an adult even, because you never know when something like this is going to happen. And I was 26 years old. You would never think that I would, or someone like me, would become a victim of meningococcal disease. But it can happen to anyone. And we just all have to help each other and support and protect each other from getting diseases like this.
So, do you have a website?
I do. It's daisypollard.com, DAISIPOLLARD.com.
And also, what's good news for you?
Good news. Good news is that every day is a new day. You get to start over every day. You get to learn from your past and live your future. And even though you can be a survivor of something, you can turn your life into amazing things, like competing in pageants or whatever it is you want to do. Going to grad school, becoming a doctor, lawyer, whatever it is that you want to do.
Fantastic. But I do have to ask you about this dress, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Because I've never seen a dress that looks like this dress that is so... pictures of you, I guess, pictures of your family. What is that dress?
Actually, it is a honorable item. It's for people that have been severely affected by meningococcal disease. It's mainly the people that the National Meningitis Association supports, people that have died or have just been severely affected by the disease. It's their pictures and their stories. And it's going up for auction tonight. It's one of the auction items. And actually, this is the skirt. So it's the skirt is a collector's item. The dress is jersey knit. It can be worn by itself. And it's just a piece that really does celebrate surviving something that can be so devastating.
Did you create it?
No, actually one of my sponsors, Lori Elise, she designed the dress and she created the dress. Everything is from hand. Her name is Lori Elise and it's Lori Elise Collections.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm Lucia Huang Gordon, and it's a pleasure to be here this evening at the National Meningitis, honoring Sara, Herbert-Galloway, and Barry Klarberg. It is an amazing organization, and Sara and Barry have done so much to get the message out about meningitis. Gary Springer, whose father, John Springer, was a dear friend, was our PR person for M. Butterfly, and that is how I got to meet Gary and his amazing family. Their whole family is so courageous, full of love, full of inspiration, that I try to be here every year to support them. And I have twin daughters who are 10 years old, and they had just told me that next year is the recommended age for the children to be vaccinated. And that is exactly what I am going to do. And I hope that they can come and attend with me in the future.
Now, I've seen you at many different charitable events. I think that's in your soul, is that right?
Yes. I've been involved in the arts and many charities, and I've been lucky to have a lot of friends who take a charity under their wing. And all the work they do is amazing. They've made a huge difference for many, many organizations. So they support the ones that I'm in with and involved in, and I try to support everyone in theirs.
What are some that you're involved in that maybe you could share with us?
I'm involved in the Women's Project. We support women writers and directors to go through the glass ceiling to express the hearts and minds of young women today, and it is quite amazing. It's very inspirational. Young woman Katori Hall just has won many awards in Europe and also here, and new plays with Angela Bassett, and it's amazing.
Great. Last question then. What's good news for you?
Oh, good news for me is that I think, I feel like things are turning around. I mean, it was a tough year last year for a lot of people. And everybody just kept their spirits up, kept everything going. Sometimes it was hard for galas and fundraisers to raise the funds needed. But I feel like, things are turning around and the economy is turning around and people are healthy and happy.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
What's their latest good news, Dr. Ruth?
Oh boy, I hope you have half an hour. There is a brand new documentary about me, 12 Extraordinary Women by the BBC. There is a theater piece called Dr. Ruth, all the way. I blush when I say it. That is written by Mark Saint-Germain, who wrote Freud's Last Session. And there is a wine coming out within a few weeks called Vin d'Amour. And it's less alcohol than regular because I tell couples, don't drink too much. She will fall asleep, he won't be able to perform. Drink a little bit, but not too much.
Thank you, Dr. Ruth. Thank you.
This week's Time magazine, the 100 most influential people, they also did a piece on the 100 most influential people in human history, and they consulted 4 people for it. I was one of the consultants, so I'm quoted in the magazine with my choices of the 100 most influential people in all of human history. That's good news.
That's good news.
Not for them, not for anybody else, just for me.
And what brings you here tonight?
Barry and Sara, the honorees, they're good friends.
Sounds good. Thank you, James, for sharing. You want to share what's good news for you tonight?
1 second. Good news for me tonight is that you're here and that I feel surrounded by support and the love of so many friends. And I'm here with my National Meningitis Extended family. And I think that everyone it's just every year I look forward to this event, and I'm especially honored to be being honored with the Nancy Ford Springer Award this evening.
Congratulations to you, Sara. This is a good moment for good news because we're with Carol Alt. Hi, Carol. How are you?
Hi, good news. I'm fine, thank you.
Every time I interview you or every time I see you, you're at something that is good for humankind. How come?
I think it's my time to give back. I've been so fortunate. I've gotten information throughout my career that has saved my life, made my life better, so of course I try to pay it forward.
Medical information, you mean?
Well, I changed my diet to the raw diet. It helped me so much with my health. It anti-ages you. I'm really 80. I just look really good for my age. So I try to pay it forward. My 3rd book is dropping in May about raw food called Easy, Sexy, Raw, and that's what it is. It's easy, it makes you feel sexy, and it's so simple to do. So I just try to pay it forward. Again, with the National Meningitis Association, it's the same. It's all about information.
What do you suggest for people to do that are unhappy with their physical and their appearance as well as their health condition?
The simplest thing to do is get one of my books, follow the recipes in it. There's so much. There's a swapping list. You like chocolate? Here's chocolate. You like cake? Here's raw cake. You like granola? Here's raw granola. It's amazing. There's nothing you will ever miss, and you don't have to diet. You eat what you want to eat when you want to eat it. And, it's just amazing to do. It's just amazing to do. So that's always been my recommendation.
There's the routine. Last question. What's good news for you?
Good news for me and my boyfriend's coming home tomorrow. After 9 months of playing hockey on the road, I get my boy home. So that's really good news.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Bye, good news.
We're with, I'm sorry, your name is?
Kenyatta Leper and Diana Zollicoffer.
Okay, they both are involved with a very serious subject off Broadway. As meningitis is serious to health, the subject matter that these 2 ladies are involved with is quite important. So tell us about what you're doing and what's the importance of knowing this information.
Well, like I said, my name is Kenyatta Leper. I'm the writer-director of the off-Broadway production Innocent Flesh, and Diana is one of the producers. And the show's about human trafficking of our young girls in the United States, not Thailand, not Europe, but right here in our own front and backyards. And one of the interesting things about meningitis and what we're here for tonight and our show is about child abuse and neglect. and bringing awareness and taking care of our children and making sure that they're taken care of in the best way, in the best light. And like I said, that's what I try to do, and what we're trying to do with Innocent Flesh, making sure that our children are not neglected, making sure they're not abused, and making sure they're not exploited.
It's an important topic that's getting a lot of coverage right now because Americans are starting to wake up to the fact that this is something that's happening down the street, around the corner. It's not divided racially, it's not socially, economically divided as well. And there's been a lot of coverage in the Huffington Post, New York Times, LA Times. We're working actually with the LAPD and also members of the FBI task force against human trafficking, and we found a way to enlighten people through the play about exactly the psychological games that are played on children, because we can't forget that it's not prostitution, it's teen sex trafficking.
And it's not as heavy as it may sound. I've tried to write it in a way where I use poetry, I use movement, I use dance. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll think, and you'll be moved. And I think that's the best way, so people will listen and not turn a blind eye to it and say, this is my daughter, it can happen to her, I'm going to take her and love her, so this won't happen to her.
Actually, our audience knows, since I've been involved with another friend, Media for Humanity, Melanie Simon, for 12 years. I've been speaking to interns about trafficking, because that's her focus of her organization. And it just last week, I said, we need to create something, and I'm so happy because we're just meeting out of chance here. We need to, and I'm a former CBS, PBS TV producer. So I've done shows like All in the Family, Sonny and Cher. But a show like All in the Family, what it did, you saw a bigot, you knew you laughed with the bigot, and you cried with a bigot.
Yes,
okay?
That was the
but you knew he was a bigot.
That was the brilliance of that show.
He was a bigot to everybody.
Exactly.
But shows like that, and even producers like Hal Ashby, like those type, were able to entertain and educate at the same time.
And deal with those issues that are not as pretty as you would like them to be.
Exactly.
And tell people it's okay. And we need to start talking about them, because if we don't start talking about them, they remain secrets. And people remain and continue to be hurt and victims.
Yeah.
And it's time to overcome them and just talk about them.
It's interesting because your generation was willing to look at things, and our generation is starting to be willing to look at it. If something happened in between where people sort of like put on their rose-colored glasses and just, kind of...
That was my generation.
But if I may just say, our website is www.innocentfleshtheplay.com, and all of the information about the play, we're at the Actors Temple on 47th and 8th.
Okay, so I am a member of the Actors Temple.
Perfect. Your family. Your family, yes.
Mishbucha, we could say, in the Jewish background. So, last question, and then we'll talk about how we can do more together, or maybe create that show for television that teaches, or for good news. That is the whole object of our broadcast, to promote good news. Good news doesn't have to just be, happy. Where are we here tonight? We're at meningitis that kills people. So this is not far away from that as well. And so, but it's important to know, because education is the key to health and happiness. So, last question, what's good news for you?
Good news is being here, bringing awareness to certain issues, and having a smile, making a difference for someone else.
Good news is watching the faces of young people that are inspired, once again to dream bigger. And that's amazing news, way beyond good news.
Beautiful. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
First of all, what brings you here tonight? Let's start with that.
I'm Miss Teen USA. I won in July, and so I get to go to different events, and I'm supporting tonight the National Meningitis Association's Gala.
Okay. My other question is, what's good news for you? What makes you happy?
What makes me happy? Well, a lot of things make me happy, and this year has definitely been a blessing. And attending wonderful events, working with charities, going into hospitals, seeing kids and their faces light up, and healthy, strong kids. So that's why getting your meningitis vaccination and staying healthy is definitely a positive and thing that makes me happy.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sandra Caldwell, and that website is sandracaldwell.com. And tonight I'm at Symphony Space, but I'm also on Rookie Blue on ABC, so check it out. And
beautiful. Last question. What's good news for you? What's good news for you? All we do is good news.
What's good news for me is I'm here, I'm within the community, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Springer, who is very instrumental in this whole organization. Give us a little background, because I know we've interviewed you before.
Well, yeah, I mean, in 1999, my son came down with what we thought could have been a fever, flu, and by the next day was in a coma. He wound up having his arms and legs amputated. But he survived. He's one of the survivors. There are a lot of them who don't. My wife made it her life mission to find out about this, because we didn't know anything about it. Nobody knows anything about it, really. And Nancy became one of the 5 founding members of the National Meningitis Association. She got legislation passed in Massachusetts, in Vermont, in Connecticut, in New York, and we were, very much behind this whole thing. My son has been doing brilliantly. He's become a United States Paralympic wheelchair athlete. Won the gold medal in Beijing. Unfortunately, the day after Nick won the gold medal in Beijing, my wife died of liver cancer. So it's been a long road, but the National Meningitis Association is very dear to my heart. And my son would be here, but he's training because the Rugby Nationals, the wheelchair Rugby Nationals, are this weekend, and he would have lost 3 days of training by coming here, and his team wouldn't have been happy.
Last question. What's good news for you?
What's good news for me is that so many people are here to support the National Meningitis Association. That's good news.
Love it. Thanks. Thank you so much. So can I ask one question? Sure. What's good news for you?
Good news for me being here.
And why?
Well, this is a great night. I love this charity, and I think it's a very important one. As a father of a lot of kids, and as a close friend of the Springer family, this has always been a lot to me personally.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.